my beautiful friends. I'm your host, Leah.
And I'm Cari Kenzie. Welcome to Shift Happens. Discover the leader within. This podcast is designed to disrupt the way you live, lead, and love. At Shift, we challenge traditional narratives and believe that inner wisdom is the key to every decision.
Are you ready to explore a new paradigm of both living and leading? We'll dive deep into our innate strengths as women: compassion, curiosity, intuition, grace, vulnerability, and love. The shift, it's about to get real. Rediscover the power within and transform your life. Stay tuned. It all starts now. Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome to the show. Cari and Leah are here. Shift happens. This is us, and this is the conversation today. Okay, let's be real. Who here is burned out, thinking about burnout, talking about burnout, trying to solve for burnout? Burnout has, it's become a business, a big business. Best-selling books, top-ranked podcasts, coaching programs, corporate wellness initiatives, mindfulness apps, all designed to fix burnout. We have an entire economy dedicated to fixing this conversation that we're going to have today. And what if, like most things that we bring forward on this podcast, what if we're fixing and solving the wrong problem? What if burnout actually isn't the problem? What if it's just a symptom? A side effect of a much deeper, bigger, and what we're going to bring forward on the show, a more dangerous problem, right? What if burnout is just truly your body, your mind, and your soul screaming, you're not tired because you're doing too much. You're tired because you're doing too little of what actually aligns with who you are, right? We're grinding on things that aren't moving the needle. We're saying yes to things that don't serve our mission. We're measuring success in hours spent instead of impact made. And yet, this is what we're told, right? We're told the solution is rest. The solution is balance. The solution is boundaries, right?
Yes.
We're going to break all of this down for you guys today, right? Because here's the thing. How many of you, myself included, have ever taken time off to come back and be still in burnout, right? How many of us have slept in, had a slow morning, and still felt drained? How many of us have tried to, quote unquote, work less, only to feel more frustrated? This is the conversation that we're talking about. We're not hitting pause in this episode. We're hitting reset. That's what we get to do in this conversation today. Because burnout, we don't believe, is a dead end. It really is just a directional shift. It's just an invitation, not necessarily to slow down, but maybe a call to level up, right? To realign, to reclaim the energy with intention towards a purposeful progress. So that is the conversation that we get to have today. Welcome, Cari, and welcome all of y'all to the show.
Oh my gosh. This is going to be good. This is going to be good. And you're right. Like when you think about the billions, let's just say billions of dollars.
It has to be.
That have been created in an industry based on burnout, right?
Yep.
That doesn't work. Which is why it's $1 billion industry, right? Because everybody's coming forward with different strategies, different solutions. Like you say, you go to a retreat on burnout. You do some exercises, right? You sit, you meditate, and you eat the foods, and you go the hikes, and you really try to come back to self, and you feel really great, right? You feel really great after about 4 or 5 days, because usually that's about what it takes. Let's be real, right?
Mm-hmm.
To like completely check out. I've been
Yep.
to Waterfall, beautiful, gorgeous resort, beautiful, gorgeous. They do everything. Like your cell phone doesn't work, very limited spaces where you can find some Wi-Fi, right? If there's an emergency, and you get to do all of these amazing things. You can climb up poles, telephone poles, you can go on hikes, you can meditate, you've got sound bowls, you've got all of it, and you feel amazing after 5 days. And I can't tell you how many of the women that I went to this retreat with that were like, oh, I feel like an absolutely new woman, right? I've had like 3 massages, and right, I've had my mani and my pedi, and I sat by the pool, and I got to read my book, and I did all these crazy, amazing things to go home, and 2 weeks later, have it all wear off. Have it all wear off, right? And then they go, oh, okay, I cannot wait to go back. I can't wait to go back.
Yes. I can't wait to escape my life.
Yes, I can't wait to go back. I can't wait to go to the next conference or to read the next book or this podcast. I listen to a podcast every morning because that's what really gets me juiced up and going and ready for the day. And then you enter your day. And what happens? Life.
Mm-hmm.
Life. Because as you said, you've placed yourself in a position that doesn't align with the genius, the beauty, or the passion of what it is that you're meant to, wanting to, desiring to bring to the world. Mm-hmm. Which is why we remain in freaking burnout. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you brought this, you messaged over to me like, hey, what's the conversation we want to have next week? I think I wrote you just the word burnout. Yep. That was it. I was like, burnout. Why? Because I was feeling it. Yeah. You know that. Yeah. I was feeling it. Right. And then we sit and look, and you and I sit and we have conversations, and I'm like, I know exactly why I'm feeling burned out, because I'm not doing the things that align with my genius, with my passion, with my strengths. Mm-hmm. I'm doing things. I'm really good at a lot of things. I will tell you that entrepreneurs, right? Motivated people, high performers, executives, you're really good at a lot of stuff. You're really good at a lot of stuff. That's why we do it all, right? Because I can do it better and I can do it faster. Maybe not better, but I can definitely do it faster. Okay. So you're going to fall into one of those categories. Mm-hmm. And then you effort and you do all of the things, and then you find yourself exhausted and in burnout, and you have absolutely no idea why. Because you're good. You think I'm good, right? I'm good at these things. Yes. Yeah. That's until, you have some self-awareness. You allow yourself the opportunity to dive in a little bit further into who you are, right? We've sat this week in training, another training for a predictive index, right? Which is a tool that we use, and we use in our organizations, and we use in the trainings that we do, because it's a self-awareness tool. Yeah. And when I have seen the places that I stretch myself outside of my hardwiring, I go, that's why I'm exhausted. Uh-huh. Because I need people, and I don't have people. Right? Because I'm a very high drive individual. And sometimes that's pulled back, right? I'm a very quick, and sometimes things don't move as fast as I want them to move, right? So I look at all of that and go, it's no wonder I feel freaking burned out. There is no retreat in the world, no conference, no podcast that is going to bring that awareness forward to me or give me the tools to align back into the brilliance of who I am. That's what I would say. So,
yes, I mean it is. So we're unwrapping all of that. We're unwrapping the formula, as Cari mentioned, of working hard, feeling exhausted, taking a break, doing it all over again, because temporary rest, right, doesn't fix like even short-term misalignment. But most of us, we're talking long-term misalignment, yes. Right? And so we're here to challenge. You don't need another nap. You need a new way of working. Yeah. You need a new rhythm for which we do work. And like we like to say at the Modern Culture is we don't work, we mission. Yes. When people ask me, how's working going? I'm like, oh, missioning? Awesome. And I know when I say, oh, work, and I say it just like that, oh, work, even that is the energy where, oh, missioning? Just hear the vibration of the voice in it. Mm-hmm. Are you working or are you missioning? Mm-hmm. And to align with the place that makes you feel alive. Yes. And so if we were then to reformula, this
Mhm.
this working solution, as
Mhm.
opposed to working hard, feeling exhausted, taking a break, doing it all over again,
Mhm.
what would you say was the key for you to get to go from burnout to back into an alignment? What is your formula? How do you think? How do you feel? How do you navigate it?
I can tell you, I know when I get to it. I've
Mhm.
become very aware when I get to it. And so this may resonate with a lot of individuals. I don't know, Leah, you may have been in this situation too, but I will mission and I will effort and I will, do amazing, great things. And I can do it until 10 o'clock at night. Cause like you say, we don't work, we mission, and it's a totally different energy. Right.
Mhm.
And I will do that for a period of time. And then all of a sudden I can feel my energy just start to go down, go down, go down. And what I will do, because we love to justify ourselves, right? Is I've been staying up too late. I've been on my computer too late. Right. So then I'll start to shut my computer down earlier, which there is a case to be made for that. I
Yep.
will say there is a case to be made for that. Right. So then I'll start to shut my computer down earlier and earlier, except for that doesn't seem to shift the sleep. It doesn't seem to shift my energy the next day. Okay. So then I just start to question, like, okay, did I eat enough? Did I have enough water? I go through the easy stuff. We always want to go to the easy side, right? I'm going to go to let's make sure I'm doing all of this first. Okay. Well, crap. Right. And then I get to a point where I'm like, crap. But then what happens where I really know when I've hit burnout is I can't think.
Mhm.
I can't think. And I've become so aware of it that I will even feel my body have a visceral response to my computer where it's like, I can't even look at it. I can't even touch it. Right. So I do pause and I do take a break because there is a cause for that, right? There is a cause for the pause and to take a break. But I pause to take a break to really understand why the hell I got to burn out to begin with. What is it that I have been doing, right? Where have I been efforting? Where have I been stretching? That's what I'm going to say. Where have I been stretching? Because we can do it for periods of time.
Mhm.
We can do it for periods of time. Everybody has the ability to be able to stretch even in their cadence, right? So you can go out and run, but I can stretch and I can run faster for a period of time.
Mhm.
Period of time. I cannot stretch and go out and run faster as a half marathon. Because what's that going to do? It's going to wear me out. It's going to completely deplete me. Okay. When we stretch outside of our genius for too long, we get completely depleted. Okay. So then I have to sit and go, okay, what have I been doing on a daily basis? What have I been doing on it? I've been tasking
Mhm.
a lot.
Mhm.
Tasking a lot. Now, there's a lot of tasks to be done. And I'm playing both sides here, Leah, because this is how our minds operate. I'm like, well, there's stuff to be done. So of course I have to task,
Mhm.
right? I don't have options to not task. Like I need to task. So, okay. How then do I bridge the gap is what I'm going to say. How do I bridge the gap? Now, for me, I am a very people-oriented person. I just am. And if you know me, you know I like to talk because I talk to think. That's how my mind operates, right? I'm not somebody who's going to go back to my office and sit and allow my brain to process all the information too, and then come up with the answer and write it down and come back to you. I actually need to talk to you. I need to have a conversation with you to be able to brainstorm it out. That's how my genius works. So while there's still tasking to do, I now make sure I have more connection with people in the process of the tasking because it breaks it up and it helps to bridge that gap.
Mhm.
See what I'm saying? So sometimes we have to stretch a little bit, but we also have to come back into alignment. Now, here's the thing. Prior to our work in modern culture, I knew things about myself. Right? I've owned an organization before. I've, been the CEO. I've built organization. I've done all of this. So I thought I knew myself and I did know myself fairly well. Right. as we've come to learn this past week, what was our statistic, Leah? Like, you ask people if they know themselves, and 95% will say they do. 15% actually do.
Yeah.
Actually do, right? So where I thought I knew myself, I did not realize certain aspects about myself that led me to burnout. So it has been a practice. And I learned that honestly through diving into that predictive index. I have done multiple profiles in the past, so not a lot of it was surprising to me. But the way that this one came forward and it showed me and it talked me through, and I've come to learn that people side of me, that thinking outside, if I'm not doing that, it is really stretching me, which is causing exhaustion. If I didn't know that, and we all work virtual, right? It's such a virtual world. If I didn't know that, I would be exhausted all the time. I would be in burnout and never know why. But now that I know that, I've determined there's different things that I have to do. You and I talk every morning. If we don't, it's a sad day. Just saying, Leah.
It's that day.
And then we try to talk every night. I connect with the team throughout the day. I process through, right? So I make sure I'm not sitting in an office by myself. I don't care if it's, and I've realized this is my new thing this week, Leah, just so you know.
Ooh, yes, tell me.
I'm going to let the team know, hey, Zoom room's open. So if anybody wants to come in, co-work, if you've got any questions, anything like that, feel free to pop in. Right? This is how I'm learning to navigate. So did that help answer the question? Like, what would you say? What would you say in response to what, because you've witnessed this and we've talked about, because it can be a cycle, right? And you have to break out. So is there anything that you've witnessed or that you would be like, maybe if you looked at this, or how do you navigate it? Tell me.
Well, and that's why I think it's so brilliant, because we all have to know. Like there is no global rhythm for burnout.
No.
There's your rhythm.
Yeah.
And to your point, the PI, the predictive index that we were able to navigate and certify, and we're really excited to bring forward into the world, into your organizations, and to you as your own advocate for how you lead, right? Even just your own life. The comprehensiveness of this tool is mind-blowing. We've done all the personality profiles, the Myers-Briggs, the DISC, you name it. We've probably taken this test, and the assessment here really assesses behavior and behavior as it relates to work, how we do work, and knowing ourselves and knowing how we do work. And knowing how I do work is completely different than how Cari does work. Totally. And it's completely different than how everybody on our team does work. And yet I think so many times we think that everyone's just like us. We make assumptions like everybody would. Well, duh, everybody wants to work like we want to work. And we have somebody on our team that is not a verbal processor. She's a very internal. Don't make this woman do what we're doing right now. Because she's very, she's a deep thinker, and she speaks when it betters the conversation, right? When she can bring something to the conversation that is intelligent and conversational in facts in her mind. Where we are just very, like, this is what we do. Like, we could do this all day long. Just verbal process around a concept, an idea, what have you.
Yeah.
But if people are not like that, it would drive them crazy, because they would not think that they're getting closer to the outcome. And so just understanding that about ourselves is probably paramount. We have to understand how we behave so that we understand how our behaviors align with the other behaviors of the team. And this is going to be the most important, how our behaviors disrupt potentially the behaviors of other people on our team. Because arrogance and assumption there is debilitating. And it can, and we've seen it happen, make cultures crumble. Right? And so as it relates to that, that's the first thing that I would say is just you've got to know thyself to understand your own rhythm as it relates to how you mitigate the real problem. The real problem is not burnout. If you're in burnout, that is a symptom of not understanding yourself, not being in alignment with your own genius, your own strengths, right? And as we learned in PI, when we, any weakness that we might have or opportunity is typically because we're doubling down on our strength.
Yeah.
Most of our weaknesses are just our strengths overused. And we get to understand, why am I needing to double down on this strength? Where am I not feeling seen? Where am I not feeling heard? Where am I not feeling validated? Where am I not honoring my own self in this? Because doubling down on a strength will lead you to burnout. But you have to know that it's not burnout. It's the doubling down on the strength. It's not aligning with trust in your genius. And where's that? That's the conversation that we're inviting you to. Because solving for burnout is never the solve.
No.
It's never the solve.
No, it never is. It never is. Yeah. So how do you navigate it? Because you're right, we do work in completely opposite, different ways. In some ways, we work very similar. And then in some ways, we work very different.
Yeah.
How do you navigate burnout? How do you know your cycle?
So I know that if I'm in burnout, and we've all been there, it's mainly because I didn't allow myself the opportunity to work in my own genius. It's the same as you. It's just the work is different.
Yeah, right?
Right? It's that I was doing tasking.
Yeah.
That I was feeling wasn't moving the needle forward, that I was feeling stalled out in progress, that I was feeling, because it's so interesting. We all want to. Cari and I are not the only ones that want to make impact and make a difference. Like, if you're listening to this, it's probably because you do.
Right.
And so when we're not feeling like we're making impact, when we're not feeling like we're making a difference, it can feel like all of this is for just nothing.
Yes.
And if you get that lost in faith and that lost in that lack of trust, in belief in what it is that you're missioning, that you just revert to feeling kind of hopeless. And then on the other, like, they're all just a bunch of cousins with each other. Burnout, hopelessness, lack of faith, lack of trust, right? It all just kind of like snowballs into this word that we type out, burnout.
Yeah.
And so it's just, for me, it's just a keen awareness of where it is that I'm doing busy work and not impact needle moving work. And it's really, as a high performer, to understand more about being busy to stay busy and really being effective in the impact.
Yeah. Yeah. It's brilliant. It's that understanding of where you're placing your energy, where you're placing your energy and where you're placing your effort, right? Because you can energy all day long. And we love to say, like, mission is the boss. Mission is the boss. Mission is the gift. And mission honors effort, but not all effort. Right? When you think about it, like, mission honors effort, mission honors energy, but doesn't always honor, right, energy that's put out in a way that is not of integrity, that is not of alignment, right? Because, as we've come to know, when we are out of alignment with ourselves, when we are burnout internally, right, mission does not respond, mission does not reward, because we've been efforting in a way that is not an honoring of self, which is not honoring of mission, right? So then we will feel like we have come out of alignment with mission. And as you've so brilliantly brought forward many times, it's not out of alignment with mission, it's out of alignment with self. Always in alignment with mission, but out of alignment with self. So then we take it back again another degree, and it leads us back to what? Sitting outside of alignment in gifts, in understanding, in brilliance, in genius, in all of the things that you're doing, and being able to see the impact, the outcome that you're wanting to make. That was, I would say, another aha that I had this week for me, because I'm a very big vision thinker. I'm a very big vision, which drives some of the individuals on our team crazy, because I'm always like, Oh my gosh, yes. And I'll talk and I like big vision. I'll go, oh, let's just make that happen. And then when one of our gals who's, more of the detail, more of the strategy, more of like, she's like, Cari, it's so cute when you say that. Let's just go make that happen because there's like 37 things that need to happen in order to make that.
Uh-huh.
But if I can hold and see the big vision, if I have the ability to keep that out in front of me, that helps me to stay in alignment with me and to see impact, because that's the outcome I look for, right? Which is maybe a little bit different. So anyway, I know you wrote something down. I want to hear what kind of came to you as I, scrolled.
No, because that was so great. And what came to me was really this idea of like missioning, right? And what I wrote down is it's losing sight of the why behind the what. And it's that hustle addiction. It's the high achiever's curse.
Yes.
Right? It's that need to, again, if your tendency like mine is to lean on the side of being perfect, and there's no room, right, for failure. There's no room for fault, right? Or to do not good work. What happens is we overwork on things that don't actually matter, right? Instead of being reminded of the why behind the what. And in doing so, our effort is diluted, and then we become, right? If you could imagine, like, you've got this perfectionistic high achiever that overworks on things that don't matter, and we say yes to everything, and we dilute, thereby diluting the focus. Because if you're saying yes to everything, you're not saying no to anything, then everything seems like it's really important to do. Okay. And if everything feels like it's really important to do, then you're not going to make effort on the things that actually matter. That 80-20 rule that is so important for us to come back home to. Yes. Right. And it's no wonder we're exhausted. It's no wonder we're exhausted. But the reality is a nap won't work. Right. We have to reimagine work that works.
Yes.
And I love that that's what we get to do in our organization. And just like we do in our, as a coach, like we're always our own first client. Yes. And as the modern culture, we're our first client. Always will be our first client as we navigate these different tools to work differently and to transform the leadership within to mission effectively.
I love it. It's brilliant. And so here's what I'm going to say is,
yes, what did you write down?
That was an excellent conclusion to the entirety. And I love that you were able to pull my like big vision forward into the impact and being able to see the why behind the what, right? Because I think for me, that is huge, right? That is huge for me. And when you lose sight of that because you're so stuck in the tasking, like you said, so thank you for making sense of my scrolling, as you always do. But thing that I want to leave is that's going to be one of our next podcasts, the why behind the what. That's what I wrote down. I was like, what? I know. Here we go, behind the what. So we will leave you with that little teaser that's going to be another one of our conversations that we're going to have here in the next couple of weeks. So I would say, like, if there's anything that I have learned in the realm of burnout, as you so brilliantly said in the beginning, and what I want to leave everybody with is that burnout is not a need for sleep. Burnout is not a need for an escape. Burnout is a need for a reimagination within, a rediscovery of yourself, and putting yourself in alignment with the genius and the brilliance that you are. Because once you do that, you are going to allow others to find their way into the genius and the brilliance of who they are. That, my friends, is how we are going to navigate a world outside of burnout, right? Without waiting until the retreat next year. So that's the invitation. That's the invitation, friends. All right. Thank you so much. We love you. And
love you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. You have been listening to Shift Happens. Discover the Leader Within with Leah Rolling and Cari Kenzie, where we help you reconnect with your inner leader. Learn to trust your instincts and live with authenticity and confidence.
Tune in every Friday at 11 a.m. Central Time to Shift Happens on Transformation Talk Radio for more insights, inspiration, and actionable strategies to live and lead, not only in purpose, but on purpose. It is time to embrace a life and a leadership style that is true to you. For more information, visit shift.life.